Hello, it is I, your internet friend, Robert Guderian. Today we're talking about Unix. In the chapter that is written, we cover awk, finds, sed, tar, xargs. We're not going to cover them all here because, well, you're not going to use them all every day. One thing that I noticed I'm missing is actually grep, and I'm going to cover that here, and they'll probably be written by the time you're watching this. And these are all really useful tools that help us do our job. Again, there is a whole bunch of things that are available to us. You can actually just look at it in user bin. I don't know what all these do. I'm not going to lie to you. But you're going to find out that some of them will make your life easier, and you'll learn those ones. Those are the ones I know. And that's what we end up doing. We end up being good at one thing, just like our own Unix systems. So I'm going to talk about processes first, permissions first. And I'm going to SSH into a virtual machine I have because I want to be root. And you can see that it is local on my machine, and I'm logging in as Rob. I'm going to have two tabs open. I could do this at a screen. Is that more or less confusing? I feel like it's going to be better this way. And I'm going to close this tab. There we go. So this is my root screen. So I'm going to say sudo bash. Sudo, I should probably maybe cover here. Or that might be in maintaining servers, where I am becoming root. Who am I? I'm root. There's a Groot joke here. I don't know if I can make it well. So you can see that it says root at Debian on top, and that is good. And I don't know which shell I'm using. I am using bash. Excellent. I'm happy about that. And this is me as a normal user. Who am I? I'm Rob. That's true. Great. And that means that I have some file here, and I can even create a new file, say VI, or I can even just touch a file. This is our test file. I'm going to say it's a text file. It doesn't have to be. It can be anything because we're just going to be changing the permissions on it. So there we go. This is what's in my home folder. So right here, home Rob, and ls dash, I'm going to clear ls dash al will give me the permissions. And remember that this is in the owner, the group, and then the everyone, or other, as they like to call it, format. And I can change permissions however I want. And I want to show actually how I might do this. And I could actually use change ownership too. So I can change things to be owned by different people. This is apparently owned by root. It's really interesting. But it's read by me. So this will actually illustrate exactly what I want to show. I'll use that other tab. So I want to see this requirements.txt. Oops. And these are all a bunch of files that I like using. I was testing out pip, I think. And you can see down here, it says that this is read-only. So what happens if I try to write to it? Well, I can't. Add exclamation mark to override. Okay, right. Nope, still can't do it. And it's grumpy, which is good. It should be. So what if I try to override it in a different way? I can say listing this thing. I'm going to use file redirection to write that to requirements.txt. Permissions denied. What is the error message? 1. Okay, not super useful. But I actually cannot write to this. The permission denied really says it all. You can't do this. And if I was root, and let's actually do that. I'm in my home folder. I can look at all the files, and since I am root, and root is the administrative user, it can do anything. Chmod, I'm going to say 700 on, that's got execute. Let's say 600. 600 does not execute on requirement.txt. And over here, it should be reflected immediately. Right here. Yep, good. Requirement.txt is read write only for the owner, which is root, and no one else has anything. So if I try to open this, let's try to cat it. It says permission denied. That's what we want. That's exactly what we want. And that's great. So now I don't want to own this. I'm root, and this is in Rob's home folder. That's a disaster for Rob. Let's actually allow Rob to see this again. So we're going to say chown. So change ownership. I'm going to change it to Rob on requirements.txt. Now, I'm going to clear this again. /al. I'm going to use grep for requirements. And now it is owned by me. It's owned by group root, which is unusual, but fine. That means I can still edit this quite happily. And I should be able to add a line and write it, and it's all good. It's very normal. Check out the permissions help. There's lots of nice things we can do. I find when you're learning, all plus X, add execute for everyone to requirements.txt, which is kind of stupid. It's a text file. You wouldn't do that. I find that this syntax is a little bit clearer for people. Chmod all take away execution. And honestly, just doing one at a time. Everyone add this. User subtract this. That is much more understandable than the octal format. But once you get comfortable with chmod, I find the octal format being very descriptive and quick and short, and that's why people still use it to this day. So read, write, execute for me, being the 700, and that's wonderful. Honestly, you just have to screw this one up a bunch of times to get it right. Don't be scared of it. As long as you know somebody who is root or you are root yourself, you'll be fine. And let's show find. Find is actually a really useful tool, way more useful than you'd expect. So I'm going to go to user, or USR. I call it user. I don't know why. If I just say find, it'll show me every single file in this whole file system. Is this useful? No, not really. Because we're not really finding anything. But we know what grep is. Grep will use a regular expression, so find, and it can be any substring in there. Find has to grep for, what do I want to search for? ManDB. Now, let's go with group mod. Install kernel. Oh, wow. No, there you go. Notice how fast that was. If you've ever heard someone say output is slow, now you've seen it. Writing things to standard out is slow. You're passing it through, in this case, a SSH tunnel, which is going to be over the network, even though it is all local on my computer. But that when it was fine, it was like printing stuff out, blah, 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 blah. It wasn't done before I got bored and canceled it with Control-C. So it just normal cancel. And then I ran this, and it took no time. We can actually time this. There's something called the time command, and I would have to run that here. Time. Boop. And it'll actually give us the real amount of time that this took. So that was 0.7 of a second. If I say time, find, I'm probably going to pause the video. So it is 1340 right now, as you can see. Oh, you can't see that on my clock, but that is true. I'm literally going to pause the video because it's going to get boring. And boring is boring. 3, 2, 1, cut. All right, it's still 1341. That took 10 seconds. Apparently I got bored in 10 seconds last time. I'm not even mad at myself. That's kind of not surprising. It's a useful tool. You can time things. It's great. So I wonder if it was in memory and it remembered it. Yeah. So now we have find. So find, but we can actually find things by name. We don't have to use grep. Install kernel. But we have a problem. This is going to find nothing. Oh, it found the binary, but it didn't find the one that I had seen before, which was a manual page. And that is because we're not using, it's matching this word exactly. And it found it in script bin, sbin, which isn't actually the one we were looking for. So what if I say star? Well, that's not going to work the way I hope. Oh, it did. Oh, that's surprising. I thought I'd have to break it. I've had to do that before. I wonder why. Maybe I was using 2 words. Yeah, star is the normal match all, where you will do, it's called globbing for a global match. Anything that starts with install kernel and ends with 0 or more characters will match. And then we can actually see the man pages that we were trying to match before, which is what we wanted. Okay, now we want to do something with these. Well, they're gzipped. So I'm actually going to add a dot so it only matches those ones. I want to see the contents of all these all at once. Okay. zcat. So if I piped this to zcat, it would send this, which would do nothing. So I actually want to use xargs. Well, okay, good. We can do that. So xargs, which will take these and make it into the argument of my thing, whatever command I'm running. So I could say zcat, which is actually a really cool tool, which will ungzip it. So I could actually use the gzip command and then pass to cat. This will do both at once. And I guess if I was showing you pipelines, I should do that, but I would never do that, so I can't do that. And this will take all of those and it's going to put whatever this is as an argument here. And that's exactly what we want. Enter. Woo, there we go. It is in a special format. I believe it's called graph or a trough. It's a markup language, which is actually kind of beautiful, but I'm not going to teach you that today or probably ever. Cool. That works. We want that. But Find can do this all by itself. And I'm probably going to get this wrong the first time because I don't do this very often because I'm used to piping things. We can use exec. And I think I have a cheat sheet here. Do I have to? Okay, then it automatically replaces our brackets. And we do have to give it the semicolon. Everything is actually semicolon delimited for the commands. And this should be the same thing. There you go. Perfect. Small cheat sheet that I had written for myself in this primer, which is hilarious. Cool. One command does it all. Is that Unixy? Oh, this kind of breaks the Unix idea. Unix says we should have something that does one thing well, and this is finding and executing the horror. That's okay. I think we can survive on this one. But how cool is that? It's a very useful command for searching for some file and opening up files and doing stuff. Even from here, maybe I want to search through all these files and then grep for the word bugs or something. I don't really know. We just know it's there. And it'll find it. And we can still have our beautiful pipeline. And again, we can do that with this previous pipeline. And it'll find bugs again. Very nice. Very, very nice. Wow, that actually completes the second thing I wanted to do. That's cool. We can put our other arguments around this because this will do a find and replace on this. xargs can do the same. And there is actually something important to recognize with xargs that is not completely obvious. So this is pretty much, I believe this is an exact line from my primer as it stands now. I'm going to put in 2 different words. Hello, your world. Hello, your world. And it puts it all in one line. So what this did is it took both of these and put it into this one placeholder. Is that what we want all the time? No, not always. Sometimes we will want hello to be run in whatever command we're running, and then ya to be run in whatever command we're running. So how do we do that? Well, of course, this is built into xargs. It is called -n. Ooh, I have -l here. I think that's wrong. Oh, it might be right. Maybe you should trust previous versions of yourself, Rob. I didn't try this with the -i. Ooh. I'm going to use my example exactly as written here, and then I'm going to probably pause the video and hack through that. That didn't work either. That's cool. This is funny when you switch between... Okay. I'm obviously having problems. Different shells. That's interesting. This hot tip, FreeBSD and macOS have a lot in common. So anyway, -n will take each one of these and pass them one at a time into this command. Now, why did that not work here? It sounds like they're mutually exclusive. I should actually read the error message, shouldn't I? Oh, now it worked. Okay, so I was right about me being wrong. But why does this not work? N1, mutually exclusive. Max, args, and replace are mutually exclusive. Interesting. I don't know how to solve that problem. I'm actually going to do a little bit of research. I'm not going to force you to watch me going through a man page because I think that's interesting and I want this to work. I'll be right back. After a digression of about 10 minutes, it's a fool's errand to actually try to do this. It's an anti-pattern. And that's fine. That makes sense. What the trick there was -I already kind of does this for us, but it does it on new line delimited data, not white space delimited data. And white space delimited data is actually kind of not what we want to work with in the first place. This will be robust to file names that have spaces in them, which is nice. As you can see, this is what I ran. It's still that hello world. This could be any actual meaningful program, like cat or RM or whatever. And then there's our what we're replacing in world. And then it will happily do that one per. So that's interesting. And fine. I'm actually not mad about that. Don't use anti-patterns. Don't teach anti-patterns. That's fine. And the man page for find and xargs are actually really good. The last thing I did want to talk about find was the type. You can actually search for types. Oops. Oh, and this man page is not helpful. Which is useful if you want to actually find a certain type of file, whether it's an executable or a symlink or a plain file or something, and will help you do that. So find is an incredibly useful program. Take some time to get to know it, and it will probably be something that you'll use on a fairly regular basis. If nothing else, know find. I usually give the dot because I'm a pedantic kind of person. -name. You can use iname for case insensitive, which is nice. You do have to spell name correctly. And let's say, I don't know what I'm searching for. I'm in user. I'm going to search for Python. It's also spelled correctly. That's the one I use almost all the time. And don't forget about globbing, and that you might have to use a / to break the star, because otherwise it might be matching everything in this folder, which is odd if you don't know what it's doing. But that's all I have for you today. And I want to show you grep. Let's find everything. And I'm going to pass it to grep. That -v is invert. So it'll show everything that does not have the word pie in it. No. What doesn't have the letter A? Lots of things. What doesn't have any vowel? Grep -ve. Grep. Oop, that's a 3. Grep -v AEI. Grep -v O. Grep -v U. Should we do Y? Grep -v and sometimes Y. What? There you go. Source. This source folder has no. That's it. That's the only one that doesn't have a vowel. Okay, that's a little bit awesome. So the source folder doesn't have a vowel, and that's the only one in all of them. All files in user. It makes me happy. On that bombshell. Have a good day.